Okay, so let's have a look at table completion reading questions. So for these questions, you'll be asked to complete gaps in a table. You may also be asked to complete gaps in a flowchart. You have to complete the gaps using words or phrases from the text. So very, very simple terms, you'll be shown a table or a flowchart, it will have gaps in it. You take words from the text, put them in the gaps. It's kind of like a gap fill question that you would normally get in school. When I say gap fill, it means like a sentence that has a word or 2 or 3 words missing. You put the words in. So just because it's a table doesn't mean that it's any more complicated than that. It's a slightly different context, but it is, pretty much the same as a normal gap fill question. So the skills tested are reading the instructions carefully. I wouldn't say this is a skill like skimming or scanning, but it's definitely something you need to develop. Scanning the text to locate the relevant paragraphs and transferring information to the gaps correctly. Not the most complicated of questions, but a lot of people throw easy marks away when it comes to these questions. So you need to be very careful with them. So here are some common problems. Not reading the instructions carefully, especially the word limit. If you go over the word limit, even if the correct word is in there, then you're in trouble. Going over the word limit, changing the form of the words from the text, you don't need to do that. And spelling errors. If it's spelt incorrectly, it's wrong. So here's some advice for table completion. Read the table and understand what the table is about. This will help you predict the correct answer. Note the heading of the table so that you know the type of information you need. And note the other information in the table for clues to help you. Predict the types of words you have to include based on the information already there. And read the instructions very, very carefully. Finally, do not go over the word limit. And if you follow that advice, you shouldn't have too many problems. But the thing about this advice is, these are things that a lot of students will be like, yeah, I do read the instructions. Yeah, I do. Don't go over the word limit, and I spell things correctly. And then when you look at the results, then it tells a different story. I don't like to be really, really picky and to be picking on you and giving you a hard time about this, but I'd rather do that than you fail the test. Oh, finally, check spelling. So, strategy for table completion. Read the instructions carefully, check the word limit, scan the text to locate the relevant paragraph, read the appropriate section carefully to find the answer, transfer the words exactly as they are to the gap, and 6, check your spelling. So this strategy, again, not the most complicated strategy that you're going to find, but what it's doing is it's preventing those easy mistakes to be made. So let's have a look at a real question. Okay, so here we have a question. Here's the table, and as you can see, it's a table, and it has some things that you might not be aware of, like complementary species, preferred climate, start of active period, number of generations. You don't need to know what any of these things mean, really. You don't need to be an expert in this topic. Don't be put off by the fact that it looks a little bit complicated. It's not that complicated. So first thing we need to do, read the instructions. Complete the table below. Choose no more than 3 words from the passage for each answer. So if we write 4 words, 5 words, 6 words, we're wrong. So it can be 1 word, 2 word, or 3 words. Write your answers in boxes 9 to 13 on your answer sheet. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Next we need to find out where it is in the text. So for the first one, number 9, preferred climate, Spanish. So we're going to look for Spanish one, preferred climate. So let's scan for Spanish. Spanish. This doesn't talk about climate there. Cooler environments, okay. Let's have a look for Spanish, okay. Temperate climate Spanish species, okay. So as you see, we don't have to really, we don't have to read the whole thing and skim it. It's really just a scanning exercise. So what we would do is we would put this answer in, temperate climate. Okay, so in here we put temperate climate. 10, so Spanish again, start of active period. So nothing there. So the former, that's the French. The latter, that's the Spanish. Because former means first, latter means after first. The latter, which multiply rapidly in early spring, produce 2 to 5 generations annually. Okay, so I'm going to assume that it's active period, multiply rapidly, early spring. Okay, so I'm going to put that as my answer here. So late spring, early spring. So this actually gave you some information to help you do this. That's actually a good bit of information here, because it shows the type of information we're going to need here. So even if you didn't understand what active period meant, you would know that it was a time of year. Number of generations per year, 1 to 2. So it's probably going to be 1 or 2, 2 or 3, 3 or 4, something like that. So let's have a look up here again. So the latter, which multiply rapidly, produce 2 to 5 generations annually. Okay, so we're going to put that down here. 2 to 5. All right, so preferred climate, South African ball roller. So it's going to be some type of climate. And up here, they're talking about climate in this paragraph. Let's have a look for this one. Okay, the South African ball rolling species, being a subtropical beetle, so subtropical, let's have a look down here, cool, and then we had temperate, and then subtropical. Okay, so we put subtropical here. Complementary species, so it's going to be one of the other ones here. The South African ball rolling species prefers the climate of northern and coastal North-South Wales, where it commonly works with the South African tunnelling species. Works with, complementary, so we're going to put South African tunnelling. Okay, so we put here South African tunnelling. So you can see you don't really have to read the whole thing. It is purely just a scanning mission. The other information in the table really does help you, but then it's just a matter of, okay, what's in here, go up, scan, find where it is, okay, put it in here, boom, 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 just do it pretty quickly. These normally come up in the start of the test, not always, but a lot of the time, and they are easy marks to pick up, but the real thing that you have to remember is don't throw away these easy marks. So let's have a look to see if my answers were correct. Temperate, yes. Early spring, yes. I put temperate. Did I put temperate climate? Yeah, it doesn't say there. But I don't agree that this temperate would be the only answer there. I think if you put temperate climate, they would also give you the mark. It doesn't say here, and many people would argue that, oh, because it doesn't, it doesn't give the whatever it says here, that's the correct answer. I think they've actually made a mistake here. It is a human being making this. So I would say that it's either temperate or temperate climate would be fine. Early spring, 2 to 5, subtropical, South African tunnelling or tunnelling, so good. Okay, so As you can see, pretty straightforward. The key is to really to practice these questions and get into a routine with them, and you'll be able to nail them. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Thank you very much. Bye bye.